How can you make the English that you've already put in your head automatic? Hi, I'm Julian Northbrook from doingenglish.com. I got a great question from Marietis. Marietis asks, often I feel my brain is full of information, but when I try to speak, to transfer it from my brain to my mouth and formulate a phrase, it's not easy. I need to take some time to structure them and I speak like a robot. Now, there are kind of 2 points to be made here, only one of which I'm going to talk about in detail in this video. First and foremost, have you actually learned the right language? This is a surprisingly common problem. People have used textbooks or they learned English at school or what have you, and what they've actually filled their head with is pretty much useless crap, and then they wonder why they don't know the phrases and expressions that they need when they actually have conversations. You need to be learning the right language. And until you do that, it doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to be able to speak well because you're missing the things that you actually need. Now, Marietis is a 2-step speaking member, so I know that Marietis knows exactly what she needs to learn. So I'm going to assume that that is not the case here. So let's go into detail about how you can make what you've put into your noggin automatic. Simply put, the problem is, it's not a case of whether something is in your head or not. It really isn't as simple as that. And my explanation here, what I'm going to talk about here, is also really grossly oversimplified, but I think you will get the idea. When you first learn something, it goes into conscious memory, into short-term memory. If I say to you, a random number, for example, 6835, and I say to you, tell me what that number was, you will go, 6, 8, 3, what was the last one? 5. You had to think about it. It's a conscious process. A lot of people learn a lot of English, and then they stop there. But trying to retrieve the phrases and expressions and the words and the rules that you've made from conscious memory like this doesn't really work very well. We're always going to be slow and awkward, probably translating from our first language because we've put this stuff into memory, but we haven't taken it further. So the simple answer to Marietis' question is, yes, you've got a lot of information in here, but no, you haven't truly learned it. You've started to learn it, then you have stopped. You've only taken it halfway. What we need to do is we need to take this information that we've put into conscious short-term memory and move it to unconscious, procedural, long-term memory. Once it's there in long-term memory, it becomes hard-coded as an automatic, habitual action, and you'll just be able to pull the language that you need out and speak without thinking consciously about what you're speaking about. So how do we actually go about moving this information from short-term conscious memory to long-term unconscious memory where it's hard-coded? This is the job of the hippocampus, which no, is not a large ugly animal that likes to hang around universities. It's the bit of your brain responsible for moving information from short-term to long-term memory. Well, first and foremost, this is the role of practice. Remember what I always say, mastering a language is a simple 2-step process, which is then repeated again and again and again. Learn the language and then automate that with practice. Both of these things have to happen. You can't just skip to the practice stage, and this is where most people go wrong. They say, well, okay, I learned English at school, now I just need to practice, and I'll become fluent. But, well, actually, you learned some English at school, and whether the the stuff you learned is the right stuff for you and your conversations or not is debatable. But you certainly didn't learn all the phrases and expressions in the English that you'll need. So you need to actually consciously study, learn the language, put it into short-term memory first, and then practice it and automate it via some kind of practice. What kind of practice is well beyond this simple video. There are many different ways that you can practice, all good for different things in different ways. But both of these things have to happen. First, you put the language into short-term memory, then you practice it and hard code it in long-term unconscious memory. Not sure what to learn, or indeed how to go about putting it in there? Don't know what a good way to practice is? That's where my book, Master English Fast, an uncommon guide to speaking extraordinary English, comes in. I'll show you step by simple step what to learn, how to learn it, and then how to automate it via a process of repetitive, iterative practice. To get your hands on a copy of this bad boy, just click on the link in the description. You can read the first chapter for free. It's on Kindle, paperback, and it comes with a complete audio version of the book for your listening enjoyment. That then is it from me, Julian Northbrook, for another video. If you're new to this channel, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, happy learning. Before I go, let me very quickly refer EES members to the March 2018 edition of the EES Gazette, Secrets of Structured Learning, where we went much deeper into this topic. We went well beyond the simple learning practice loop, this iterative process of putting it in, practicing until it's automatic, and really talked about how skills are acquired in general, not just English as a second language, but of course English as well, and how you can really set up your day-to-day learning to help your hippocampus to do its job much more efficiently, taking this information we put into short-term memory and hard coding it as an automatic habitual process so that we can speak English fluently without thinking about it, but also really do any of the other things, the skills that we're trying to learn in the same kind of way. If you were an EES member before or during March 2018, then you should have this issue, so go back, review it, read it a couple of times, because this was an important one. If you were not an EES member at the time and didn't get this issue, then, well, I'm sorry. Tough luck for now at least, because you missed it. I am, however, thinking that I'm going to rewrite this one and publish as a Kindle book sometime in the future. Not yet, but later. So keep an eye out for it.